how would I say this? You're like now I feel like when a woman walks by a construction worker, now how they feel because you just like, hey you, woo, looking good, like whoa, hey, I have feelings too,
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm very attracted to you. But,
every time I walk in the shower, it's like,
mm, listen.
It's like it's the morning, but yeah.
Yeah, and if I didn't,
You're judging me. It's like, ugh,
if I didn't, you'd be like, oh, she doesn't like me anymore. Welcome to the No Dick Pics podcast. I'm Christina.
Max.
This is episode 42. 42, can you believe it? Like, did you think we'd have 42 episodes?
I didn't think we'd have two.
We're doing a really good job, though. We're like staying on schedule. We're
Two more, we
recording
can
every
go
week.
44. 44.
44. Yeah. Do you like my ring?
No, I told you I don't like it.
My bow ring? Me and Shannon from season 1 of Shannon and Jarrett both have one. Hers is white, though. It's our Kate Spade.
So she doesn't have one. She has a white one. It's not the same.
It's the same.
I have a jacket just like that, but it's blue. Then I don't have the same jacket.
It's the same ring. Instead of a pink bow, it's a white bow.
But it's not the same because it's a different color. People at work are that like, oh, I have a hat like that, but it's green. Like, no, then you don't have a hat like this because
Yes,
yours is
you
green
do.
and mine is
It's
white.
a different color.
Then it's not the same.
It's the same, but different.
No.
Yeah. Why don't you like it? Okay, this is the thing. There could be something else there.
Good luck with that.
Just saying.
There's always Hinge.
Wow. That's your response? There's always Hinge? I mean, I could.
You could.
Mm-hmm.
You have some good content.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you loved doing before.
I hate
no,
this conversation.
This is just for content.
I hate this conversation. Now you have to tell me how much you love me.
Yeah.
No, I have to profess it.
No, we're in the podcast. I don't want to.
No, now you have to, because it sounds like you don't like me and that you want me to go on Hinge.
No, I like you. I love you.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to go on Hinge?
No.
Good.
I had a really funny joke, but then that would spoil the whole thing.
Spoil what?
No, I'm not. Rewind. Welcome.
So this week we have Jennifer coming on. She's going to share some stories. She's a listener. She has some very interesting stories. She sent us a bunch to choose from. Juicy. So I'm excited to see what she has, and what she has to share. Do you think people walk by and are like, what are they doing in there? Because
no one's really nice in the neighborhood. I shouldn't say that. They're not very vocal.
I feel like
people that talk to me are the people from the other neighborhoods.
Really? Like when you're walking around here, it's less than like when you go across the street?
No, like a couple blocks over, there's more people, and I feel like they're more friendly.
Interesting.
We just have a bunch of fuddy-duddies in this neighborhood.
I hope none of our neighbors are listening. They don't know who we are.
A couple of neighbors probably don't like me because when I was younger, I did some things with reindeer in their yard.
What did you do? Now you have to describe it to the listeners.
I looked like the reindeer were giving each other. Can you say reindeer style? Doing doggy? Doing doggy style on Christmas Eve. I turned all the reindeer so it looks like they were just doing a whole line.
Oh my god.
And I did it every year and they can never figure it out. And I told my mom, she's like, that was you? I was like, yep.
That's funny.
Yeah. And then one neighbor, we did shaving cream all over their car. We were bored. It was before the internet. So if we were out of fireworks, like there wasn't a whole lot to do. So we would just vandalize things.
Nice.
We had prank wars with a bunch of guys, so we'd always do fun things. Here, I'll bring up my thing. Ready? That's what I
No,
found online.
we have 2 minutes.
Is she coming for sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's save it for the back end.
All right.
Is it sports related?
No.
Oh.
It's sex related.
Oh, even better. I need to schedule. I think I'm going to schedule that next week. But I'll send you the podcast.
Sex?
I'll send you sex?
We're going to schedule sex now? What are we, 80?
No.
What do we have, like 8
Our
kids?
sex expert for the show.
I thought we were scheduling sex. I was like, all right. I'm available next Wednesday evening.
Uh-huh.
From 9 to 9:15.
Do you want to know why my hair's curled? There's a reason. This is a girl thing, like, for next time I quiz you.
Because you didn't have an everything shower.
Exactly.
And you were out of dry shampoo.
I'm not out of dry shampoo.
And your purple shampoo was out.
I don't use purple shampoo.
And your watermark was hurting.
Waterline. That's my waterline. But, no, I have 2 things of dry shampoo. I'm never out of dry shampoo. I'm always prepared.
You want a face that doesn't care?
No, this is day 5 hair, and it is, like, not doing great. So I threw some curls in, and it looks good now. But if I didn't have curls, it'd be like, now you know.
Now you know how to, hey, I'm going yard.
You're going yard?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
You can.
Yeah. Okay, good.
A little bit.
Oh, but I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't?
Wait. Okay, now I can hear you.
Now you
I
can
don't
hear?
think she was talking. That rarely happens.
Stop.
You're going to be outnumbered, Max.
Yeah.
I know.
He always is. He's used to it.
And I'm sorry. I know you're trying to not do the editing thing, so sorry.
Oh, no. We're doing editing. We've given up.
Yeah, there's no way around it.
Did the raw dog didn't work out?
Yeah.
It did not. So we're not even going to try anymore. So, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't have to do that much with Fred, though. That's because he's a radio guy.
He's a professional.
Yeah, the whole second half was heavily edited. But when we had Fred, it was pretty much just...
He had that radio voice. That was impressive.
That's why he's a star of his show. Speaking of Fred, Jennifer here is might be one of the girls who was like, "Hey, tell Fred I said hi."
Did you get a lot of emails like that?
Yes. Did. I got messages, I got texts from friends. I'm like, wow. So I asked him if he wants a PowerPoint or a spreadsheet. We'll go ahead and do a little introduction for you. Okay. So, welcome, Jennifer, to the No Dick Pics podcast. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing very well. As well? Is that... We're doing well as well.
There's a lot of wells going around today.
It is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, we're not I told you we're not professionals.
No, we're not.
That's okay, but that's what makes it lovable, is the authenticity of it.
Yeah, because we don't know what we're doing.
We'll learn together.
Yeah. Well, and have you listened to most or all of the episodes?
Yes. I can't say I make it through the entirety of the episodes, but I think I've hit both seasons, most of them.
Okay. Well, thank you for listening. Jennifer did give us some feedback saying that, like, she's noticed the improvements to the sound and stuff. So I love hearing that, because Max doesn't know. He's just like, I just show up.
Sound is good. Brevity is good.
Thank you.
I think it's better once we kind of got away from sitting in the same direction in front of the computer.
Oh,
I didn't see any of your recorded episodes, season 1, but did you guys sit like at the round table? You know, everyone always films their podcast with the round table and the 2 mics.
No, in the beginning, we just had a laptop and 1 mic.
Okay.
And we shared the 1 mic, and I'd go back and forth.
Oh,
and we sitting right next to each other, squeezed in to the frame. Was not great.
That's back from my newscasting days, right? You're doing one of these.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, what to tell?
Well, and you mentioned
So
newscasting, so I didn't know that.
once upon a time ago, in a former life, many, many moons ago, today I work as a public relations professional for a company out here in the suburbs.
That was my major. Didn't use it, but I majored in public relations.
I heard you say that. Did you go to school here in Chicago?
Yeah, Columbia.
Same. Okay. When were you at Columbia? I wonder if we were there at the same time.
2000. I graduated 2000.
You're a little bit before my time. Not much.
It was
A little bit
it was
though.
before it was like you were just able to like they accepted anyone, and they kind of, because I came from a previous school, so
Okay.
I was asked to leave. So and then when I left, it was starting to get a little bit better, but even the area wasn't really as built up as it is now.
Oh
I
no,
mean,
if you go into the South Loop, it's a whole different animal. I love going
Mhm.
down there. Like we didn't even have a Dunkin' Donuts when I was there.
Really?
We would walk
Wow.
5 or 6 blocks to get to a Starbucks when I was in college at Columbia. Yeah,
That's crazy. I
very
don't know
different
why
now.
I thought it was in a different area. I don't know where it is. I thought it was more like in the loop, the actual loop.
I think, well, the buildings I were in were more South Loop. We were right by Belbo and Wabash.
Okay.
yeah, Michigan and Balboa. So yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh,
So,
that's
but I
interesting.
studied
Went to the same school.
journalism there. So we were the snobby writers and looked down our nose at everyone else. And that translated into a writing job with the Chicago Sun-Times and all of their newspapers I bounced around to until I started covering cops, courts, and crime. That was my favorite, and made a name for myself doing crime out in the suburbs. There's a notorious cop that I covered extensively, and that landed me a couple television gigs
Oh,
talking
wow.
about the nuances of that trial and investigations.
I love
And
true
then that just kind of parlayed into my public relations role. There was an organization that had maybe some potentially stinky issues coming up, and there is no one better to deal with the media than the media. So
Interesting.
I just kind of went into media or public relations, always dealing with media, always managing the media. It's definitely changed in the decade plus that I've been doing it.
Hmm.
Media is not the same as when I left it, which makes me sad and also grateful. But such great experience and foundational to build what I'm doing now, and dealing a lot with like crisis management, reputation, brand strategy.
So sounds like
probably a
such a
lot of
cool
crisis
job.
management today, huh?
No day is a dull day in my world. Not right now. No.
Yeah, that's so interesting. What a fun job. Do you love it?
I I love that it changes every single day. When
Hmm.
we're a journalist, you become a master of many things for a couple hours, and then that's it. You put it down and you never write about that topic again. And
Hmm.
although I am a master at my skill in the company that I represent, every day is something new. You would be amazed, especially if you have a consumer facing brand. Every day is something new, and all of a sudden you're having to solve these problems and address these customer concerns or whatever it may be. But it changes every day.
That's
And
awesome.
I think that's part of the fun. That's the draw of being a journalist. We're,
Hmm.
a little bit of adrenaline junkie, and PR is not too far off if you're in crisis.
Wow. I'm like, wait, can I do that? No, I'm not changing careers. Well, I mean, I'm
I mean, you're
pretending
in
to.
the media. You're a podcaster.
Yeah.
You are officially
Yeah.
media now.
Oh, look at that. I
We should have a
never,
crisis, and then she can help us out.
I have a crisis all the time. I had a crisis with my tire.
Did you
I
solve
made
it?
a very
Did
big
you
deal about
remain
it.
cool, calm, and collected and say, I can solve this?
No,
Here's my experts that I go to and call.
no. Actually, yeah, I did.
I did. I filled it up.
You did. That
There's
was
your
very
expert.
nice. Yeah. Yeah. No, I was very dramatic about it, at least online. And then I'm like, why? Calm down. So it's fine. My tires
Yeah.
are good.
Important.
So let's talk about relationships. Where do you stand when it comes to what is your relationship status?
Seeing other people.
What does that mean? Wait, seeing other people.
So talking
Hmm.
and seeing some people and looking to see if I can find something that feels good that I want to really invest my time in. So
That's so healthy.
just talking right now.
Yeah.
I've done it. I've been through it. I've been married. I've been not married. I've been in several long-term relationships is where I tend to land. But that doesn't mean I can't have some fun along the way
Oh,
and
yeah.
just kind of,
As you should.
yes, as we should at this stage in our life. But trying to be very respectful, very responsible, and have some fun. Responsible fun.
Responsible fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Responsible fun's not as much fun as irresponsible fun.
When you chase a crisis for a living,
Oh,
responsible
true.
fun is
True,
great
true,
on the
true.
weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get enough chaos, so that's valid.
But you can also probably spot chaos a lot better than other people. So you're like,
I think, yes, that is true. I see a red flag walking before it
That's
a block
amazing.
away.
I
And
was so bad at that.
I think that comes from my journalism days. When you're a reporter, everyone has a story to tell. Everyone has a story to tell. But is their story good or is it a bunch of bullshit? And a lot of times people just want to see their name in the headlines, or even worse, if you have a microphone and a camera, they'll tell you anything to get on camera. Hi, mom. So you have to be able to make a snap judgment really quick. Is this a valid source? Is it a credible source? Is it going to be authentic? And especially if you're doing a more investigative piece, which I did land in doing some work, and being a former investigative journalist has definitely helped me in dating. I think it also scares a lot of people, but that's good. Weeds them out.
That's so cool. I'm so intrigued right now because I'm very
If you need
I'm
help Googling anyone, I can help you
Oh,
with that. I
I'm
can do
pretty
a
good at it too,
solid
but you're
public
probably better than
reputation.
me. Yeah, because I'm a little FBI, but I feel like you're legitimately you're probably
I think all women are FBI.
No, they're not. There's different
A
levels.
lot of them will do. I
I
know
can
all
find out a
women
lot.
love the crimes, all the crime
Not
stories.
all women, but I do. I'm very much in.
Okay, majority of them.
This is
But
not.
I haven't met one that hasn't been into it.
I'm not into it.
No, that's surprising considering your line of work.
Correct.
Is it because of that?
It is because of that.
Okay, because I'm very into the Karen Reed trial right now, and I'm obsessed. That's all I'm watching on TikTok is Karen Reed stuff.
I used to love it. I grew up watching all the Law and Order, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be an attorney one day. And then I became a journalist, which is not an attorney. And I loved working with the attorneys, and I loved telling the stories, and I loved covering the crime, and I loved the thrill of running down the courthouse hallway. But let me tell you, I really saw some of the ugliest side of humanity in covering some of those stories.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
it then became I wanted to escape that. So at the end of a murder trial, I had to leave the country and go sit on a beach for a week, because it just was sucking at my soul at the end of it.
Yeah.
So the last thing I wanted to go home and is watch Law and Order. And I think
That's
kind of
valid.
persisted for me, unfortunately. So the crime is not my guilty pleasure anymore, but that website, the one that we're not supposed to talk about, that is my guilty pleasure, because that is true crimes happening in real time.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
I will sit and scroll and read that and be like, yeah, that's why I didn't date for a year.
So the interesting about that page, and we're not going to say the name of it, but it's the one we were talking about with Fred. That Fred said that he was on. Someone was talking about him on it. Do you know what I'm talking about, Max?
Yeah, no,
okay.
I exactly
Just making sure you're on the same page.
Everyone knows it.
Everyone knows it, but we're not supposed to talk about it.
It's Fight Club. You can't talk about Fight Club.
Yes. It's true, because we will get kicked out.
Yeah.
They will find out about this show and kick us out. So, they have FBI. Except not really, because you can't post anything in there without the person finding out about it.
It's like crowdsourcing. It's like crowdsourcing
yes.
your research, if you will.
Yeah. I did find Max on there, so it was good. It wasn't bad.
Did you have glowing reviews?
he had one person just asked about him. It was a friend of a friend or something. It was one of those, like, my friend is going on a date with this guy. And someone said that their friend, or they had talked to him, and that he seemed like a good dad and a nice guy. And that's it.
That's a good endorsement. So I recently saw on someone's dating profile a screenshot from that website, and he's like verified and endorsed.
He put that in his dating profile.
And I have to say,
that's genius.
It is genius. He's been vouched for on this site. He got glowing reviews from people, and then he used it in his profile. And I'm like, it made me think for a minute.
Did you swipe right? Because I would have. I would have been like, that's so smart.
I don't remember. I mean,
it
didn't go anywhere. But
I like it.
was so smart.
I think that people get upset because their shit's getting called out on. Mm-hmm. I mean, if people are going after you for the wrong reasons, yeah, that sucks. But then other people are going to make the judgment. Like, I mean, so I don't know. I'm fine with it. I don't think that's a bad thing.
You're fine with it because you don't have anything bad out there.
I think and Fred had mentioned this on that it's bashing. It's really not bashing. There's really two type of posts that you see on there. The posts are, hey, I'm really into this dude. Is anyone else talking to him before I really invest in my time into this person? Or, and this is my, like, I just am sucked into the feed of, here's my husband. Has anyone seen him on the apps? Because I know
those are the best ones. Because, yeah, if there's 2 comments and it's like over a day old, you're like, that one's boring. If there's like hundreds of comments, you're like, oh, this is gonna be good. You start scrolling
I'm reading those comments.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't watch the true crime documentaries, but I will sit and scan through those stories. That is where I spend my time.
Top-notch content. Top-notch.
It is.
So I had my friend who had me join it, she's been dating basically her whole life, and she's like, even if you're not single, everyone should join this. Like, people who are married are in this group because they want to see if their husbands are in the group or their friends' husbands or whatever. So, like, even if you're in a really good relationship or really long-term solid marriage, you join it to see if your neighbor pops up or something.
Do you have a friend who's single? You should be in that group for them.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. But there's a lot of, like, backstabby stuff too. People are not watching out for each other.
No. And you think that it's going to be like, you're supposed to be like the girl's girl in there, but you're right. It's not bashing, but it's very judgmental, the same way that people are online. And I know you've had this experience, anyone can post anything negative about you from behind the safety of their keyboard, probably sitting in their mother's basement. So there's a lot of that.
Yeah, we call them email warriors.
Yeah, my trolls. Yeah, we get them. Like, as a company, we get them too. You gotta have to know how to not engage, basically.
Yeah, that's
Fred was getting a lot of them.
Oh my god! So I've been posting reels on TikTok, or not reels, TikToks and turning them into reels on Instagram. There's one that is like so many, like, the comments are so toxic and so, like, fragile male ego. All these dudes, I don't know where they came from and how they found that post. Yes. It's like all men.
Because he said, like, women have a little bit rougher than men. That's what he said.
Like, not to say that I have it harder than women. There is no, like, what did he say? Plight of the man.
Or something.
Plight of the man, yeah. And that's the rest of it's very positive, and that's all people heard was women have it harder, and these guys are just fighting with each other. There's one that's 30 comments long. I'm like, just staying out of it.
I grew up with 5 sisters, and my life was so much rougher than theirs, and I was like, too bad.
Yeah.
And he still lives in his mother's basement. I promise.
Probably. Yeah. But anyway, back to the topic. We're talking about that group that we cannot. I don't know how do we say this? The group we cannot name.
That shall not be named.
Yes. You have a story about that.
I do. I think these groups are great. I wish these groups, I don't know how long it's been around. I've only been in it a year. So I wish these groups were around 10 years ago. Man, would that have saved us a lot of time and hassle.
Yes.
I wish I knew about it 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because well, I don't know what story you want. Um, I ended up getting into, on accident, a relationship with a con man. And had I had access to this group, I would have asked, does anyone,
Yeah.
before I invest my time, before I, invest my energy and resources here, does anyone know this fella? And let me tell you, like 12 women knew this fella
Wow.
at the same time.
Who has that kind of work? He must have been really organized, because I don't know how you do that.
I can barely keep track of my life at 3 people over here. Like
Yeah.
So recently, I did post someone's photo there, and I did so at midnight. Like I did it late at night. It was someone that I was about to see on like a third or fourth date. It was getting a little closer to being like, okay, I might be actually spending some time with this person beyond
Mm-hmm.
just, dinner and whatnot. And so what I thought I was being discreet. He's a very fine public servant, and I made sure to cover up anything identifying about where he, might be employed. And I posted him about midnight and just said, before I make a mistake with this very fine human, is anyone else talking to him? Is anyone else seeing him? By 7 a.m., he texted me, "Good morning. How are you? Did you sleep well?" "Yes, I did. Thank you." And he goes, "Did you post me on a Facebook page?" And I was like, "Facebook? I don't go on there very often." In the course of 7 hours, at least 5 women had weighed in saying how wonderful he is. I knew his ex-girlfriend. They broke up a couple months ago. It was mutual. He trained me at work. I went through, whatever program with him. I mean, they came out in full force, like 5 or 6 different women, which to me, I was like, okay, good. This. I would have been happy with 1 or 2 comments, but somewhere along the line, someone went to high school with him.
Oh, wow.
All of these women came out. They were like, team, yay, good dude.
Mm-hmm.
And someone sent him the screenshot, a couple of
Of
them,
course.
and said, "You've been posted here." So I saw him later that night, and he really threw it in my face in a very fun and playful way.
Okay,
And
that's
he's
good.
like strutting and so proud of himself because he had all his fan club
It
there,
was
and I'm like,
all, it was all good.
yeah, it was all good. It was all good. It ended well, but we did laugh quite a bit about it. And I did eat humble pie for a couple days. And I was like, I don't feel bad. And this is what I told him. I don't feel bad that I posted you. I don't. What I do feel bad about is that it got back to you in the way that it did, because no one wants your phone to start blowing up at 5, 6, and 7 o'clock in the
Yeah,
morning with
exactly.
screenshots of this. And so shame on those women who did that at
Mm-hmm.
5 o'clock in the morning,
Well,
nonetheless.
that wasn't even bad, though. It wasn't like
It
this
wasn't
guy
bad.
did this or this. It was just asking for information.
But
Yeah,
and again,
I don't. I mean, if I found out someone did that for me, I wouldn't be upset because I have like nothing to hide. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I
but
think he came at it from the same place. So I think you said, Max, earlier, there's, these guys that probably, they're getting called out, and that's why they get upset about that. He, like you, didn't have anything to hide, and in fact, he came with glowing reviews from all these women. So he at the end wasn't upset about it, but gosh darn, did I feel like a bit of a turd for doing that. And again, not because I did it. I would do it again, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad that he just no one wants their phone to blow up and be like, you're posted online, and then you panic and you're like, what? I'm
Right.
online,
What
why?
did
What
she
are people
say
saying
about
about
me?
me? So
Yeah.
then he tried to join the group the same day. Blocked.
No, of course not.
isn't that the point of the group? You're not supposed to screenshot any of it.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. You're not supposed to screenshot any of it. You're not supposed to tell anyone, but there is the full disclaimer. If you post someone on there, you have to assume it will get back to them.
Exactly. And that's what happened to me. That's why I never posted again, because I was like, really, I mean, I'm glad it didn't work out, because obviously I'm very happy with Max the Great here. But
Glowing reviews.
right. But I was really hitting off this one guy, but like I didn't know anything about like him, and I didn't know anyone who knew him, and I'm like, this is kind of, I just want to make sure I'm being safe. So I just posted, like, does anyone know him? I'm going on a date with him. I was very new to dating, so I was like, I just want to be safe. And someone screenshot it and sent it to him, and he unmatched with me. And I'm like, I didn't say anything bad. I just said, I don't know him. Does anyone have anything to say? That was it. So, and people did have things to say.
That was the universe giving you a gift.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. I guess he was going through a lot or something. I'm like, that's more drama than I need. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, we're in our like our peace era. I don't need
Exactly.
the drama that you bring. So again, I would totally post someone on there. It's not a bashing site, which I know Fred had thought, and he initially thought, the fella that I had posted, and I'm like, no, listen, this is a true crime docuseries happening in real time. It is not, if you're not committing any type of horrible deed in relationships, you're fine. You're fine. People are saying, go for it. He's a real nice guy.
That's awesome. Are you still, what happened with him? Is he still in the mix?
I don't kiss and tell.
I like that she's a mystery.
So the answer is yes.
We don't know.
I'll let you write your own story, Max.
We don't know. Interesting.
I have a lot of stories, but I like to keep them more recent, a little bit more close. Protect the identities of the innocent.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair. That's fair. So, okay, cool. I'm so intrigued now.
I'll let you know how it all works out.
Okay, awesome. So, we want to hear about this con man.
Yes, yes. I wish I would have had this site for the con man. Yeah.
So, I'll kind of set this up. Jennifer sends me several topics that we could discuss because this is the most prepared guest we've ever had.
And job hazard, I apologize.
Right? No, it's great. And so I'm going over it with Max. He goes, "What? Con man?" I'm like, "Oh, well, yes. We need to hear this story." So
yeah,
it's interacted with
not like it's not like a Dirty John. Or I don't know if you listened to that podcast
yes.
or saw the TV show.
Yes.
It's not quite that bad. Although who knows if I wouldn't have gotten out when I did. This was a couple years ago, and same thing. I had been very, just cautious with my time and my energy, and I don't want to say like methodical. I'm not overthinking it. I'm just being reserved, and if I'm going to make an investment in a time, I'm just going to make sure it's going to be the right investment. And so I met David, and he worked lived in a suburb, right by me. His son lived with his mother in the same town that I live. And that's how I think we ended up kind of matching. And he, we would see each other for coffees and dinners, once a week, once every other week when he was, going to sports teams or dropping his son off. So it was very casual, but it was very consistent. And the communication was great. And the chemistry was there. Great guy. After about 4 months of this, it was very kismet in that I had to go to Tennessee for a commercial that I was shooting, and he was going to be in Tennessee at the same time for his son's whatever sports tournament.
Okay.
And so we worked it out that I would there the week early, but would stay late, and he would go early, and we would overlap our weekends. So total happen chance, and I'm like, oh my God, the universe is giving me this. The stars are aligned. So we're taking our first trip together after 4 months, just a long weekend in Tennessee. And what I realized very quickly is on these, intermittent dates, even if we're together for 5-6 hours at a time, you can hide a lot. You can't hide as much when you're with someone for a good, solid 72 hours.
Right.
So there was a lot of things that came up, and it wasn't even like behavioral, oh, I can't, like, this is a no, I can't deal with this person who puts his socks on the floor. That's not what I'm talking about. It was things like in his car, he had a second phone, which is totally fine. I carry 2 phones. I have a work phone and I have a professional phone. But he had never disclosed he had the other phone. When I pulled up the second phone on accident, he was like, give that back to me. And he, we wanted to kind of brush that off. And he's like, that's a work thing. And I was like, oh, okay. I carry a work phone too. No biggie. I got it.
Okay.
That's
A
cool.
little defensive.
Yeah. But wanted to, hide that away right away. We were out at a whiskey or a moonshine tasting, and, everyone's got a horrible driver's license picture. Even the
Mhm.
public relations girl has a horrible driver's license picture. So he was making fun of my photo as we were, getting carded. And I was like, okay, well, I know.
Sure
Let me
me.
see yours. And he would
Right.
not let me see his driver's license at
Oh.
all. He's like, it's that bad. And I'm like, okay, all right. And then he told me that he drives really slow. He's like, I drive like a 70-year-old man. And he did. He drove like 5 miles under the speed limit. This would be a green flag for a lot of people, but I'm going to come back to why that's a relevant thing here in a
Okay.
little bit. There was just a couple other things, again, because we just had these dates here and there. We had not spent a lot of time together, consecutive time. And so after this trip, and after this weekend, and we had a great weekend, and we laughed and we drank and we talked, and it was just a good weekend. On Monday, when I was flying home, and he was going to go meet his son off the team bus or whatnot, very strange, very different person, like someone that I had not just spent the last 3 days with. Over the course of those 3 days, again, he kept taking phone calls, which is fine. I do too. We had
Mhm.
kids, we have jobs. I'm 24/7. If my phone rings, I have to answer. I get that. That's fine. But it all adds up to just weird behaviors when you're on a weekend away with someone that you're
Right.
dating. So when I got home, I didn't hear for him from a week, which again was a little bit odd, but I also I'm pretty chill. You were with your son. I don't need you to pay attention to me. You need to be present for that.
Mhm.
The day that he got home, coincidentally, was the day before December 1st. And my children had said to me, "Ooh, we can't wait for the Santa elf to come out tomorrow." And this freaking torture device of this stupid elf on a shelf that you got to hide every single damn night of the
Yeah.
Christmas season when you're not
Mhm.
already stressed out enough. I'm s- and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to see him come back tomorrow." I couldn't find him. I'm tearing apart my house looking for the damn thing from last year. I don't know where the hell I stashed him. And so David called me and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "You want to know what I'm doing? I'm looking for the stupid freaking elf. I can't find this elf." And he's like, "Listen, I'm at the store right now and there's an elf. I will come bring him to you."
Wow.
That's impressive, right?
Yeah.
He's like, "I'll come at 10 o'clock after the kids are asleep. Let me bring you the elf so you don't have to stress about this." That's what we want. That's
Mhm.
what we want, right? So, because I am an investigative journalist, I always do my due diligence on someone. Not to a crazy, just
Right.
looking to see if you have any active arrest warrants. It's a pretty
Yeah.
easy one to look up.
As you should.
So, um, so I had done this when we first met.
Mhm.
And we started spending more and more time together. I had done this, and I did find like a property record for him. I found a traffic ticket. No big deal. Great. You are who you say you are. That's all I
Pretty
want to know.
normal. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as this man is going to drive to my house in Elf on the Shelf at 10 o'clock at night, I thought, oh my God, is this a thing? Is this like, am I falling for this guy if he does this to me? Like, is this, I think this might be a thing.
Mhm.
But there were all these red flags, and then he ghosted me for a week. So is it a thing? Do I trust this guy? Let me just have one last look. While we were together over the weekend, he mentioned his ex-wife's name. First time in 4 months, which is fine. Again, I don't care.
Right.
Right? So I couldn't find any new records on him. So I typed in his ex-wife's name. And then I found her divorce record. Not from David. She was divorced from Dominic, who was
Oh.
about the same age, 5 years older than he told me.
Mm.
Which put him into his 50s, and I was not prepared for that. And so then I'm looking up who's Dominic. And I found his Facebook photo holding a baby. And I'm like, that's the man I was just in Tennessee with. And then I'm like, now I'm searching Dominic.
Mhm.
And boy, oh boy, I found a list on Dominic as long as my left arm of arrest records.
Oh
And
my god.
sure as shit, there was his mugshot, and it was the man I was just in Tennessee with. Uh, he was arrested and booked in jail while driving without insurance on a suspended license for not paying child support.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
Lock that door.
Well, I haven't
Well,
even
you
got
need
to the
the
good
elf.
stuff. So as I'm looking at all of these
Look at the elf
claims,
first.
as I'm looking at all of these records on him, the one that stood out the most was the restraining order that was filed against him while I was in Tennessee with him, which means he is either in a relationship with someone else or in proximity to someone else that they felt physically threatened and afraid of him,
Oh my God.
that they had to go get a restraining order. So now I'm looking up this woman, and I find this woman and I call her up and I'm like, hi, I see you just filed a restraining order against, this gentleman. And
Yeah.
she's like, oh, that's my husband. I'm like, yeah, I was just in Tennessee with him. She goes, yeah, I know. I talked to the other woman he was with in Tennessee after you left. She's like, you're my 7th phone call this week.
Oh my God. Oh my God. 7th
phone call that week.
Wow.
And she got a couple more after me. So apparently his schedule got a little chaotic and he couldn't manage us anymore. Stuff was starting to fall through the cracks.
Okay.
He's a multitasker.
We say that women, multitask and men are very singular, but I mean, his Google Calendar must have been insane managing.
How do you
who he
manage
was seeing.
that? Wow.
But he had me going for 4 months because
Yeah.
I thought I had done my due diligence. I thought I had verified, one
Right.
name, and no wonder he wouldn't let me see his ID.
Did he know what you do for a job?
I'm sorry?
Did he know what you do for a living? Or like what your background was? Because I feel like that would be.
I was just like the cute company spokesperson.
Okay.
And when you say I was a journalist, people don't really know what that means, especially these days. What's a journalist anymore? It's so sad. Journalism just doesn't exist. Journalists don't exist the way that they used to, I guess. The news industry, the news business has changed. There's still a lot of journalists out there. It's, but you're just not thinking about it when you say journalist. You're not thinking about, the people who really like pour into those records and file those FOIAs and know how to do that research. So no, he probably wasn't.
Because you think that he would have heard that and been like, "Ooh, maybe I shouldn't date this one because she's gonna figure it out,"
Well, so what I also learned in talking to the ex-wife who had filed a restraining order against him, who was in the process of filing for a divorce, is yes, he has that son in the town in which you live. She goes, that's probably why he was interested in you, because he thought he could move into your house and be closer to his kid. She goes, because he's getting kicked out of my house. But she said he's got 4 other kids that he doesn't talk about. He's like, so his arrest for non-child support payment was for the 4 other kids, and they're those baby mamas over there.
4?
Yeah. So we had 5 kids with 5 ex-wives.
It's like Nick Cannon, except worse.
But worse. I know. You're not.
They all know. That
doesn't make it okay either. But still.
Right. But they all know. At least he's being honest with these women.
Yeah. So total con man. In all of these women, I'm like, wow, we should like get together for drinks or a support group, at least for like a week or 2, just so we can get this all figured out.
Take a group photo and send it to him.
So he's on his way over with the elf. How did you get out of that?
The minute that I found the restraining order, before I even called the wife, I didn't need to know anymore. The minute I had confirmation there was a restraining order and that was his photo and I had the name, I texted him and I said, is this you? And he's like, how'd you find that? And I go, don't contact me again and do not come to my house.
I would be like, drop off the elf and then leave.
I didn't even want him on my property. I didn't want him.
No, that's valid. That's valid.
And the worst part of it, and this is the thing that still kind of like makes me upset, is because he was driving back. And I don't know how I overpacked or underpacked. I was going home with crap. I don't know, but I couldn't get my yoga mat home. So he was going to drive my favorite yoga mat home. It was an expensive yoga mat, and he still has it to this day. I'm real annoyed about that.
Or one of his wives, girlfriends.
Yeah, his new wife, whoever he got involved with.
Wife number
probably regifted
7.
it too.
Yeah. It was a good yoga mat. I'm still to this day have not replaced it. I'm real angry about it.
That sucks.
Yes. So, but if that's the least of my worries,
right.
If that was the worst that came of that. And you know what? You know how I solved this this elf? I DoorDashed him.
So smart.
I I DoorDashed him.
Yeah, you don't need a dude with a restraining order. Just get DoorDash.
DoorDash solved my problem.
Genius.
This is not the other time. I have one other time that more recent too that DoorDash solved my worldly problems.
That's
Do
amazing.
you want this story? It's not dating
Yeah,
related, but it just goes to
I
show
do
like
because I love convenience.
I had no idea. You can I can DoorDash dinner, I can DoorDash makeup, I can DoorDash an elf on the shelf. Um, what I also learned in Alabama on a business trip is you can DoorDash a bra.
Mhm.
I was going down to the Gulf Shores for a business trip, and when I travel, I usually go in, yoga clothes, and I get down there a day early to just, enjoy the property in the place that we're going to be. And I'm meeting a colleague, and she's like, "I'll see you, at the restaurant for dinner." And I'm like, "Great, let me go change." I'm running through my suitcase. No bra. I don't have a bra that I packed. And here's the problem. I'm going to be sitting in an air conditioned conference room for the next 2 days
Oh,
with all of these executives and vice presidents that I work
yeah.
with no
I need
bra.
one.
I need a bra. So I'm like, how am I going to solve this?
Mhm.
I can't wear this same yoga top, especially with like what I'm planning on wearing for the next 2 days. So how can I solve this? DoorDash solved this for me.
Amazing.
God love this woman. I need to send DoorDash an email and send her some real love. I placed an order from Target. And I'm like, I just ordered like 4 or 5 bras, whatever. I don't care. I just need something. I don't care.
Mhm.
And so this woman, God love her, went to this Target. She's sending me pictures. She's like, "What about this? What about this?" And I'm like, "I don't care anything." And she's like, "Well, a 32 double D work." And I'm like, "No, but I'll take it. I'll tie it. Just bring it to me.
I'll
I
tell you.
don't care. I need Band-Aids, anything. I'll take it." So God love this woman. She ran all over this Target. She brought me 4 bras. I only needed one. Like, I don't care. I took a photo with her. I thanked her. I gave her a very
Oh,
handsome tip on the side. I love this woman. She's like, I can't imagine. She's like, it's hard enough to buy a bra for yourself, let alone buy a bra for a complete
right.
stranger through this app. She called me a couple times. She's like, "I got a pink lace unlined one here." I'm like, "That will do me no good." I like
Right.
sports bra, a swimsuit top, anything would be better.
Yes. Yeah, the whole
Yes, but
point.
you can DoorDash that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole point is to not have a point, So sometimes I'm clever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you get it, Max? It's just like, whatever. I'm just here. I got you though. Yeah. So that's amazing. I love DoorDash. I love convenience. I love all of that.
Solid endorsement for DoorDash.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Well, that's awesome.
That's a lot I just threw at you. I apologize.
No. This is
But
great.
that is also how my brain works at this late in the evening. You can see why I work in PR and crisis. I'm always, how can I solve this? What's next?
You are a great storyteller. So
I hope so. I do it for a living.
yeah, that was amazing. That was better than I expected. And you gave me a lot going into it, and it was better. It was even better than I thought.
I have more. Those are just the
Yeah.
the ones off the top of the head. It's been a journey.
Yeah. So I love that and you don't need to go into detail, of course, but I love that you have like a few guys like in the balance right now just to like see what works best for you. I think that's so healthy. And I know a lot of people like look down on that, but I'm like, I mean, obviously I did it with Max and it worked out for me, but like when you put everything into one person, I personally get very in over my head. And that's how you get your feelings hurt because you get so invested and so attached, and the other person's like, okay, that's too much, and they get freaked out because you're like, we're getting married. That's a Christina thing.
I've been writing for a long time in about dating. I've written some things for some publications on dating. This
Oh,
is like my personal life. This is just fun
yeah.
stuff I do on the side. And a long time ago, I did have a theory about dating. When I was much younger and maybe not as wise as I am now. And I used to think that, after 2 dates, if you want to continue to see somebody, right? First date sometimes can be awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And after 2 months of consistently dating someone, you should know if you want to be in a relationship with them. And after 2 years of being in a relationship, an exclusive, committed, good relationship, um, you should know if this is your person. You should know if you want to marry this person. Kind of a shit or get off the pot. And this is when I was young and dumb. It's changed a little bit because I don't think that I'm ready to commit to someone after 2 dates. I do know if I want to continue to see you after 1 date now, if I'm going to see you again. Because the boundaries, I think that I've been able to establish now, if you can't respect them on the first date, you're going to respect them even less on the second date. And if I have to tell you no now, I'm not going to tell you no a second time.
Right.
Yeah. So I have to revisit this and see if I can come up with another really clever theory on it. But I maybe it's because we changed the way that we date, in this online world. We're always searching for the next thing. And not that I'm searching for the next thing. I'm just trying to be very smart about the decision that I make.
Yeah.
But I also think that social media too warps everyone's brain, because like we would have the conversations before, after a guy sleeps with someone, his next thought is like, oh, what, what else, what can I get now? you know and you kind of go from there. And I think like the first date, I think, like there, to me, I've had it where that first date there's either a spark and there's not. Like, if you're going to be in a relationship, but off the bat, like, I would like to see this person again, or ooh, I don't know. Like, I think right away, like, you have, like, there's that spark that you have. And I've always felt it, like, if I had the first date, it was either like yes or no.
I would agree with that. I'll be so bold to say, as I know on a first date, if I'm willing to sleep with someone. That doesn't mean I do on the first date, but 3 dates, 5 dates, 10 dates down the line, whatever that may be. But I usually know on the first date if I could see myself
I agree.
being with someone. So so to your point, to the spark, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think the time frame is different too. And I think it's, people have to understand that, you're going to be seeing other people, and so is the other person. And some people take it okay, and some people don't like it. So yeah, I mean,
Well,
I think it's tough too, because you're balancing your life. It's not like, when you're in your 20s and you have a job, but you don't really have a responsibility. Now you have everything, and we've always talked about it. Especially if you meet someone that isn't a parent, like sometimes they don't get it, but it doesn't mean that's not going to work out.
I have another confession. This is going to sound horrible.
do it.
Can't believe I'm going to say this out loud. I tend to only date people who are not parents.
Really?
And that's a conscious choice.
Why is that?
This is the part that I don't want to say out loud.
I mean, you don't have to do kids.
Well, yes, very much so. But you would think like someone who's not a parent, they do want kids.
They might want
kids,
kids,
and I have run into that, and that's okay. That's not a match then for us long term. I lead such a big, busy life, and I know what it's like to be a single parent. Even just being 2 single parents and having your weekends align is a miracle in the universe.
Yes.
And then being so busy, like you just won't have the time. You won't make the priority for each other. And I have so little free time that when I do have it, I really want it to be quality, and I want it to be fun. I want to pretend like I'm not a single mom ruling the universe right now.
Right. That's valid. There's nothing to be ashamed of with that. Because honestly, I think that's one of the things that worked out well with me and Max, because he has younger kids, but I don't. My kids are adults. So it's kind of like, I mean, I'm a single mom, but I never quantified myself as a single parent because my kids are adults. So I didn't raise them single. They were grown up when we split. So like, I have the flexibility. I have the time to like work with his schedule, especially when it was early on before we, moved in together and stuff. We could work around whatever his availability was. It wasn't like, oh, well, I have my kids this weekend and you don't. And so now we can't see each other. We didn't have that issue. So that's a totally valid point. And there are a lot of people that I've seen who don't want to date people with younger kids. They don't mind the kids things, but they don't want younger kids because then they don't have the flexibility. And it's really, like you said, it's hard to match up schedules and it's hard to align. And there's nothing wrong with that being something that
sometimes I'd be swiping and she'd be like 3 kids, and I'm thinking, if this works out, that's 5 kids. No, no.
You wouldn't even be able to ride in the same
Right.
car, depending on what you have.
Right. Yeah. It's a lot.
No, that makes sense.
There's nothing wrong. I wouldn't be ashamed of that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just a like you said, you only have so much time. So to date someone who has more availability and who has the freedom to be like, yeah, I can meet you, because they don't have to be like, oh, I need to get a sitter or whatever. That's fair. Totally fair. So, yeah.
I know. I've gotten shade thrown at me, and just discussion with other women, and who knows, I might get it here too. But you are a single parent. You should be open to that. Well, I am, but the reality is, it's never worked out.
Yeah.
I've tried.
That's fair. You do what works for you. So like, I get it, because like I don't know that if I was single, if I met someone with really young kids, like toddlers, I'd be like, whew, that's a lot of work. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with guys who have toddlers. That's great. I don't know that at this stage of my life, I want that. I'd be like, that's a lot of work.
I have another funny story for you. I'll make it real short, because if I was really to get into the meat of this story, like we would need a whole nother episode. But I will tell you, my ex-husband, we separated while I was pregnant with my second son. Apologies. Second son. I found out while I was pregnant with our second son, he was on Ashley Madison. So
that documentary is awesome, by the way.
I could have, I am sad that I didn't get contacted for it, because I got a lot of great
stories. I could have been on it.
Full investigative journalist on that too. And when I uncovered it, I was 6 months pregnant, and he had already been in a relationship with this woman for 6 months.
That timing, though, that's...
So I finally found out, I found out who she was, and before I even confronted him, I knew everything about her. I knew where she went to school. I knew where she worked. I knew how old she was. I knew everything about this woman. And I also knew her husband's phone number, and I called him. But before I even get into that story, she had kids in their 20s. She's now in a relationship with my then husband, ex-husband, who has a 2 and a newborn.
Mm-hmm.
Would you date someone that has a 2-year-old and a newborn when you have grown children?
The newborn thing alone would be like, this is very fresh. You need to heal from this before you date,
Yes. Yeah. So.
Wow. Yeah, no. I'm sure they're cute. And
choices
whatever.
were made. That's,
yeah,
many years ago now.
That's messy. I would not be drawn to that, personally. So, yeah.
No. Mm-mm.
Wow. What a life. Well, thank you so much. I don't want to take up your whole night. I know it's getting late.
Yes, thank you. It was love the stories.
Yeah, great stories.
Thank you for listening. There's a lot of them.
Of course.
I go on tangents, so I appreciate it.
No, so do we.
But again, that's what makes it great. It's so authentic, and
it's just a conversation. So we just see where we let it go where it goes.
And it goes some strange places.
It does.
I was just going to say that, but I'm glad that you did.
Well, it's usually Max's fault, so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again. We appreciate your time.
Yes.
And
it was so good to do this and see you in person. And I know we know what you look like, but it's also fun to see the, how the sausage is made.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate it. And thank you for listening. And I'll let you know when this comes out. It should be next Tuesday. So
I'll listen.
Awesome.
Good luck.
Wherever I can get my podcast, right?
Yeah, good luck, and we will be reaching out for some updates. So
we'll see what happens.
All right.
Maybe I'll let you know if we post anyone on that website that we don't talk about.
Yes.
Please do it together in real time.
Absolutely. Clue me in. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Always. You guys have a really good evening.
It was nice meeting you.
Thanks, you too.
Yeah, you as well.
Good night.
That was a good conversation.
That was. She had great stories. She has so many more,
Here's the thing, right? She's a journalist and, crisis management, all that stuff. But when you're in when you're in a kind of, you're not sure what you are, sometimes you do ignore. I mean, she was understanding some of the red flags, but like as soon as he freaked out over his phone and didn't want to show him the driver's license, I'm like, I'm out. But
I don't know that I would have been out. I think I would have believed it because
But I think you're kind of stuck because they're in Tennessee, so it's not like she could have.
I'm also like a little naive, so I think I fall for things
because you want it to work out, so you kind of ignore some of the stuff.
Well, because like here's the thing,
then it comes back, and then she's like, okay, this, and connected all the dots. It's like no way.
I would Google every single guy that I was talking to or interested in, and I would do like a deep dive. I didn't do one on you.
I did reverse Google image just to make sure their photo was legit, but that was in the beginning when I wasn't even on I wasn't on dating sites. I was just like, you're on like websites, and those are just fucking awful.
Facebook dating thought I was fake. I had to submit a video to prove that I was a real person. I was like,
But yeah, she had some good stories, and sounds like she's still going with the guy she posted.
We don't know. It's top secret.
Well, she didn't say no, so that's how
she didn't say no. Yeah, if it had ended, I feel like there would have been a conclusion to that, but there wasn't one.
Speaking of craziness in the dating world, I stumbled upon an article talking about an OnlyFans Annie Knight.
I saw this.
Yep. Australian model. She shares an update from she's in the hospital. Now you ask, why would an OnlyFans model be in the hospital? Well, this was after she had sex with 583 men in a 6-hour span.
Yes.
Now she's blaming it that she has some sort of condition also, but usually when 583 dicks are ramming you for 6 hours, that's pretty much like, yeah. OnlyFans model
that was so eloquent,
shared an update on her recovery after being hospitalized for now bleedings in parentheses, quotation marks, bleeding 2 days after completing a challenge where she slept with 583 men in 6 hours. Around, like, I think 58 men in 6 hours would be a lot.
So I'm wondering if because you know how this has been a thing lately, like porn stars have been doing it, but when the porn stars did it, first of all, a few of them have been like, I regret doing that because it like took a toll on them emotionally. But like those people were working with their production company who was making sure everyone who was in line had
a test.
Had a test
like,
done.
Like over 2,000 or 3,000 guys applied for it. And the guys were just like, I mean, that's
were they
583.
Tested? Are they like that's how do you make sure those people are disease free and like
I don't know. I'm sure there was protection involved. If not, then
you still need
583 guys in 6 hours. Like I said, if I said 58, that still would be a lot, right?
What were the porn stars that did it recently? Wasn't it less than that? It was less, right?
Did like
100 or something.
I don't.
Which is,
I just thought that was insane.
That's
like, of course you're in the hospital.
That's a really short amount of time.
She was blaming it on because she has some sort of condition or something, and like that was the reason. I'm like,
that's really
no. The reason was you had sex with 583 guys.
Yeah. Wow.
How do you do that in 6 hours? Is it just like boom out, boom out, like?
Well, the porn star, I heard a clip from her interview, and she had a time limit, but she said her time limit was too long with each guy, so maybe she heard that and made it shorter. Because the porn star was giving each guy like 5 minutes, or something like that, which is 100 dudes. That's too much. That's like, how do you? I don't know.
I mean, 583. It was just literally line up, in out next, in out next.
That's
like the burger joint, in and out.
That's icky. I feel so judgy when we talk about stuff like this. That's icky, right? Isn't it icky?
58 guys would be icky.
Yeah.
580. I mean,
but like, who? I don't need the visuals. But like,
who says like,
what does this look like?
I should have sex with 583 guys. That would be great. That would put me on the map.
Do they just have a line of dudes waiting in line with their dicks out, ready to go? how does this work? What are the, like, because you gotta keep the line moving, right?
Yeah.
Like, how does that work logistically? Like, they're just ready to go? They just got their pants down, they're ready to go? Like, I don't know. Isn't that a little weird to be, like, standing in line ready to, like, hey, dude, I'm gonna fuck her next. Like, what are the conversations in that line like?
I don't even know how you would have to figure that math out. Like, what? 583 guys at 2 minutes, and how many minutes are you gonna do in 6 hours? And
again, I'm not trying to, like, shame anyone or judge anyone, but that's icky. Blah. See, this is the thing. Like, some people are like, oh, that's hot. No, it's not. There's nothing hot about that. That goes from having sex with someone to it being a very mechanical, like, let's just get this done so we can say it happened. There's nothing hot about that. There's nothing, like, sexy about that. I'm sure it's not good.
After that, like, is sex even enjoyable? Because you're just...
No, it can't be. Especially in the hospital. Like, her vagina is broken. You know? Wow. I mean, I feel bad for her, because there's a, like, the porn star that did it said that it took a psychological toll on her to go through that and to do all that. And, you know, it's a lot. Because, like, as much as especially when you do it for a profession, you can turn that off. It's still a very at least, especially for women, a very emotion-driven act. It's not always something that you just perform and don't think about. It's hard not to attach emotion to it. And I'm sure, like I said, when you do it for profession, it's easier to turn that switch off. But when it's become such a mechanical thing like that, it's just kind of like hurt your soul a little bit. I don't know.
Oh, it's got to be terrible.
Yeah. Oh, again, icky. No, thank you. That was a good story, though. What a weird world we live in. Okay, so do you have a sports corner? Because we can do a quick one. You love a quick one.
Yeah, I love a quick one. 2 things I love in life: raw dog and quick ones.
Quickies.
I really don't have one tonight because I'm not really on a rant. It's the playoffs and stuff.
Playoffs. So there's been some...
Still soaking it in.
Yeah. Okay. You can't say I didn't give you one.
No, wrestling's kind of till SummerSlam.
Moving on from sports. We have a sex expert coming on very soon in the next few episodes. If you have questions that you want to ask, send us a little voice memo or video. We won't use the video. We'll just use the audio from it.
I have a question.
What's your question?
Why would any woman have sex with 583 guys?
That's a great... We'll ask our sex expert what her thoughts are on that. Actually, I would love to ask her that, because, like, there's a lot of psychology that goes into that. But she is a licensed therapist and sex expert who will be joining us soon. So we'll tease it a little more as it gets closer, but I'm very excited to have her. It's going to be a really great discussion about sex in general. So if you have questions related to sex, not like, it doesn't have to be like, I don't know how to phrase that. It doesn't have to be raunchy. It could just be like legit questions, like what's normal, what's, you know, I don't know.
The psychology behind it, you know?
Right.
Why do men, like, we can always talk about, why do men always think they're inadequate?
Exactly. That's a great thing to talk. Well, I'm going to add that to the list of things to talk about, because, like, people don't talk about sex enough. That is a huge issue in a lot of relationships. Is their needs aren't getting met in some way, and they're holding resentment about it, and they just are too afraid to talk about it, because we were all taught that talking about sex was bad. And so I think people bring that into their relationships. And part of the reason I want to do this episode is to, like, make it, to help normalize it, to be like, it's something you should talk about in relationships.
You remember the HBO thing, Real Sex?
Mm-hmm.
That was big, and that was very, you know. But I think it's important, and I've always talked about it. Like, it's important to talk about it, and, like, kind of what you're into and when you're not into. But I like that's one of the big. It's always taboo to like talk about sex, but it's like it's important.
And it shouldn't be, especially in a relationship or when you're dating. It's something that you should be able to talk about, and not necessarily in a raunchy, flirty way, just a truthful way. Like, this is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. I like this. I like that. Whatever. I think having that honest and open discussion is such a, like, sex is such an important part of relationships, especially when it comes to the true intimacy attached to it, not just the physical act, but like the emotions that come with it and the connection. And like for us in a committed relationship, it means something. You know, it's not just knocking one out. I mean, sometimes it is. Like,
wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, but there's more to it, and I think being able to talk about it and not have those stigmas of like sex is bad, don't talk about it, like, I don't know. I think that's hurts more relationships than it helps. So I'm excited to have her. We have some exciting episodes coming up. Cut it out. So please be sure to rate, review, subscribe, do all the good things. Follow us on social media. We are No Dick Pics Pod on Instagram, and we're No Dick Pics Podcast everywhere else. You got anything else? No.
No dick
Jump in
pics.
on TikToks and argue with strangers? Why not? Everyone else is doing it. So that's all we got. So we will see you next week.
Peace.
Bye.
My back hurts. Oh, fuck.